Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamaśloke Bhaktirbhavati Naistiki Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnanan Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 20, Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So, we are continuing with Lord Brahma's creation. This is the final section of this chapter. Text 36. Naikatra teja yatishalini pada padmam gnata muhukkarataleena patat patangam madhyam vishedati bruhatstana bharabhitam shante vadrishti mamala sushikha samuha. Translation.
O beautiful woman, when you strike the bouncing ball against the ground with your hand again and again, your lotus feet do not stay in one place. Oppressed by the weight of your full grown breasts, your waist becomes fatigued, and your clear vision grows dull, as it were. Pray braid your comely hair. Purport: the demons observed beautiful gestures in the woman's every step. Here they praise her full grown breasts, her scattered hair, and her movements in stepping forward and backward while playing with the ball. In every step, they enjoy her womanly beauty, and while they enjoy her beauty, their minds become agitated by sensual desires. As moths at night surround a fire and are killed, so the demons become victims of the movements of the ball like breasts of a beautiful woman. The scattered hair of a beautiful woman also afflicts the heart of a lusty demon. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So, thinking the Sandhya to be the beautiful Apsara, now they began to glorify the bodily features of this uh, Sandhya. Sandhya is the twilight, the body discarded by Lord Brahma. Later we'll see there is a very powerful verse in Bhagavatam, Brvijurumbhena Kevalam. So here is the description of the demon and demon getting attracted to, their according to their demoniac mentality. But in Kali Yuga, it is not just about, the man getting attracted to woman. Kali Yuga becomes degraded enough that even, the otherwise, vice versa is also true. So although it is spoken in one particular tense, it is also true for the. So one has to be aware and mindful. Prabhupada says, just like the moths at night surround a fire and killed, the demons become the victims of their lusty mentality. And therefore, there is importance of these four regulative principles. There is importance of the Vaishnava etiquettes and other things. Otherwise, the demoniac society. There are so many n number of examples. We just don't want to contaminate the morning discussion by these examples. But there is an example of a Bill Clinton recently, very, very recently, and many, many times, not just once. And why we are taking this example? These are like big, big personalities. He was the president of America, Bill Clinton, I think once or twice. And he was caught in a very awkward position. very, very awkward position. Again, you can just Google it about Bill Clinton awkward. And so the lusty mentality, it's all the root causes, the bodily consciousness, that is Dehatma Buddhi. Text 37. Iti sayantanim sandhyam asura pramadayatim pralobhayantim jagruhur matva mudhadhiyastriyam. Translation.
The Asuras, clouded in their understanding, took the evening twilight to be a beautiful woman showing herself in her alluring form, and they seized her. Purport. The Asuras are described here as Mudhadhiya, meaning that they are captivated by ignorance, just like the ass. The demons were captivated by the false, glaring beauty of this material form, and thus they embraced her.
So, Mudadhiya, the Asuras, they're clouded in their understanding. Now, the understanding can cloud because of so many things. And here, because of the lusty desires, the understanding was completely clouded. Later, we will see even Bharat Maharaj getting attracted to deer and speaking such words to the deer that his understanding was clouded because of the illusion. And this is how they took the twilight as the Apsara and began to, they exhibited their Prabhupada writes in the purport Mudadhiya, that is captivated by the ignorance. And this is how they are captivated by the false glaring beauty of the material form. Material form can be human, male form, female form, both. So it's for the male it is female and for the female it is male. And that's how. Now, Bhagavatam is a life scripture. So, Bhagavatam will describe about high level of devotion of such great personalities like Prahlad Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, and Gopis of Vrindavan. And even the description of, so because it is the knowledge book, everything will come across, right? So we are seeing, creation of the demons and activities of the demons as well. Text 38. Pravasya brahasya bhava gambhiram jignayatmana kantyasasarja bhagavan Gandharvapsarasan ganan. Translation.
With a love full of deep significance, the worshipful Brahma then evolved by his own loveliness, which seemed to enjoy itself by itself, the hosts of Gandharvas and Apsarās. Purport. The musicians in the upper planetary systems are called Gandharvas, and the dancing girls are called Apsarās. After being attacked by the demons and evolving a form of beautiful women in the twilight, Brahma next created Gandharvas and Apsarās. Music and dancing employed in sense gratification are to be accepted as demoniac, but the same music and dancing, when employed in glorifying the Supreme Lord as Kirtana, are transcendental, and they bring about a life completely fit for spiritual enjoyment. Thank you.
Then there is creation of Gandharvas and Apsaras. So musicians are called as Gandharvas, the dancing girls are called as Apsaras. And Prabhupada says, the music and dance, it should be employed in the service of the Lord and not just for sense gratification. That's why you will see, I was speaking to one devotee, and he said, Prabhuji, you will not believe, classical music, it is 95% of the music is about Radha Krishna. That Madhubana mein Radhika, Nache Re, and everything. So classical music, 95% of the classical music is about Radha Krishna, Shiva Parvati, so on and so forth. These are the dancing forms of the Lord. And primarily between Radha and Krishna. Because in Shiva Parvati also, it is most of the time Lord Shiva's dance is being glorified. But it is about Radha and Krishna. Later, previously also we have seen Devadattam Imam Veena, when Veena was awarded to Narad Muni. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, actually the purpose of the music is to glorify the Supreme Lord. And all the different ragas, these are there to actually evoke the mercy of the Lord and award pleasure to the Supreme Lord by our singing and dancing. And this is not for a typical this activity of sense gratification, like we have some tamasha or lavani or something like that, or the Bollywood dance kind of a thing. So all these natya, Bharatnatyam, Kathaka, and all these are primarily for the glorification of the Supreme Lord. In fact, the word Kathaka itself means the dance which accompanies the Hari Katha is called as Kathak. Right? And same is true with Bharatnatyam as well. Text 39. Visarsaja tanum tam vai josnam kantimatim priyam ta eva chadudu pritya vishvavasu purogamaha. Translation.
After that,
After
Brahma
that,
gave up that shining and beloved form of moonlight. Vishwavasu and other Gandharvas gladly took possession of it. Hare Krishna.
So with the next mentality, Brahmaji created Gandharvas and Apsarās, and he gave up that form. Again, gave up that form. Sridhar Swami explained this. He gave up that mentality, and that form was very well accepted by Vishwavasu and other Gandharvas. Gladly took possession of this. So Brahmaji is creating everything, facilitating all different types of living entities and their desires to enjoy the material world, and that's how he's creating forms after forms. Right? Text 40. सृष्ट्वा भूतपिशांश्च भगवान् आत्मनिन्द्रियां दिग्वाससो मुक्तकेशान् वीक्ष्य चामीलयदृशौ. Translation.
The glorious Brahma next evolved from his sloth of the ghost and faints, but he closed his eyes when he saw them stand naked with their hair scattered. Purport: ghosts and mischievous hobgoblins are also the creation of Brahma. They are not false. All of them are meant for putting the conditioned soul into various miseries. They are understood to be the creation of Brahma under the direction of the Supreme Lord.
Next, Brahmaji created ghosts and the hobgoblins. So Bhut, Pritas, Pishach, and Ket, and all these personalities were created. But when he saw their forms, Digvasaso is a very civilized way of saying that they were naked. Dig means Disha as only Vasa. Disha means the directions as their cloth. That means Digvasaso, naked. And Muktakesha. Muktakesha means their hairs were scattered. And Lord Brahma did not like this sight and he closed his eyes. Text 41. Jagruhustat Vishtrizam tam Jumbram nam khyam tanum prabho Nidramindriya vikledo Yatha bhuteshu drishyate Yenoschistan Dharshayanti Tanmudam Prachakshate. Translation.
The ghosts and hobgoblins took possession of the body thrown off in the form of yawning by Brahma, the creator of the living entities. This is also known as the sleep which causes drooling. The hobgoblins and ghosts attack men who are impure, and their attack is spoken of as insanity. Purport: the disease of insanity or being haunted by ghosts take place in an unclean state of existence. Here, it is clearly stated that when a man is fast asleep and saliva flows from his mouth and he remains unclean, ghosts then take advantage of his unclean state and haunt his body. In other words, those who drool while sleeping are considered unclean and are subject to be haunted by ghosts or to go insane. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So the ghosts and the hobgoblins, they took the body that was thrown by in the form of yawning of Brahma. And these people attack those who are ashaucha, who are impure, and which leads to insanity. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the disease of insanity, being haunted by the ghost, takes place in the unclean state of existence. And therefore, cleanliness is very, very highly stressed. And therefore, taking bath at least once a day. And this is for the bodily cleaning. And for the cleaning of the mind and the existence, we have the chanting of Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada says here that when the man is fast asleep, the saliva flows from the mouth and he remains unclean. And therefore, after a prolonged sleep, even in the daytime, sometimes, because of the late nights or something like that, we may sleep in the daytime for a couple of hours. Then one should take bath. There is a recommendation to take bath after passing stool. Okay, so it is very important that after passing stool, after sleeping for a couple of hours in the daytime, after sleep in the night, one should take bath. Or when is excessively sweating, then one should just cleanse oneself and take bath. In the Ayurveda, there is a very beautiful statement: Snanam Shramaharanam Srishtam. So Snanam Shramaharanam, that amongst the Shramaharanam, the Srishta is the Snana. So, one can take bath and become very, very refreshed. And then one can avoid this attack of ghosts and the hobgoblins, which may come in the form of very impure thoughts leading to insanity. Text 42. Urjasvantam manthamana atmanam bhagavan ajah sadhyan ganan pitruganan parokshena srijat prabhu. Translation.
Recognizing himself to be full of desire and energy, the worshipful Brahma, the creator of the living entities, evolved from his own invisible form from his navel, the host of Sandhyas and Pitas. Purport: the Sandhyas and Pitas are invisible forms of departed souls, and they are also created by Brahma. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So now, Brahmaji created Sandhyas and the Pitas, which are the invisible forms of the departed souls. So these posts and these personalities were created. So, and that's why we know that, departed souls, they are supposed to be residing at Pitruloka, and one performs the Shraddha ceremony. And in Bhagavad Gita also there is importance of Shraddha ceremony. And Arjuna is saying, my dear Lord, if all these people are killed, the Pradushanti Kulastriyaha, and then, all these, the ceremonies and very important ceremony of a Shraddha ceremony will be stopped. So these are the creation of Sandhyas and the Pitas, invisible forms of the departed souls. Text 43. Ta atmasargam tam kayam pitara pratipedire sadhyabhyascha pitrubhyascha kavayo yadi vitanvate. Translation.
The Pitas themselves took possession of the invisible body, the source of their existence. It is through the medium of this invisible body that those were well versed in the rituals offer oblations to the Sadhyas and Pitas in the form of their departed ancestors on the occasion of Shraddha. Purport: Shraddha is a ritualistic performance observed by the followers of the Vedas. There is a yearly occasion of the 15 days when ritualistic religionists follow the principle of offering oblations to the departed souls. Thus, those fathers and ancestors who, by tricks of nature, might not have a gross body for material enjoyment can again gain such bodies due to the offering of Shraddha oblations by their descendants. The performance of Shraddha or offering oblations with prasad is still current in India, especially at Gaya, where oblations are offered at the lotus feet of Vishnu in the celebrated temple. Because the Lord is thus pleased with the devotional service of the descendants, by his grace, he liberates the condemned souls of forefathers who do not have gross bodies. and he favors them to again receive a gross body for development of spiritual development advancement. Unfortunately, by the influence of Maya, the conditioned soul employs the body he gets for sense gratification, forgetting that such an occupation may lead him to return to an invisible body. The devotee of the Lord, or one who is in Krishna consciousness, however, does not need to perform such ritualistic ceremonies as Shraddha because he is always pleasing the Supreme Lord. Therefore, his fathers and ancestors who might have been in difficulty are automatically relieved. The vivid example of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj requested Lord Narsingadev to deliver his sinful father, who had so many times offended the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord replied that in the family where the Vaishnav like Prahlad is born, not only his father but his father's father and their fathers up to the 14th father back are all automatically delivered. The conclusion, therefore, is that Krishna consciousness is the sum total of all good work for the family, for society, and for all living entities. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author says that a person fully conversant with Krishna consciousness does not perform any rituals because he knows that simply by serving Krishna in full Krishna consciousness, all rituals are automatically performed.
Pitas, they took the possession of the invisible body, which is the source of their existence. And through the medium of the invisible body and through the ceremony of the Shraddha, they are being nourished. In the Purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the Shraddha is the ritualistic performance observed by the followers of the Vedas. So the Sanatana Dharma, there is an important ceremony that is Shraddha. And every year, annually, there will be 15 days, which is called as Pitru Paksha. Pitru Paksha means Pitru Pandravada. You know that this is the 15 days. They are reserved for gratefully remembering the Pituras and performing the Shraddha ceremony. So, what is the Shraddha ceremony? Is one will cook the bhoga offered to the Supreme Lord, and through the Supreme Lord, they will offer that bhoga to the departed souls who may or may not have received a very good body because of their, Prabhupada writes here, because of their freaks of the karmas. They might have been caught up in some body, or they may not have received the body. And by honoring Prasad, especially honoring Vishnu Prasad, and Prabhupada says this ceremony is traditionally performed at Gaya at the celebrated Vishnu temple. And even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he performed the Shraddha ceremony for his father, Jagannath Mishra. And then, he became, later he, the pastimes of the Mahaprabhu. Later he met Ishwarapuri and then revealed his very, very devotional aspect of his life. So this is about importance of Shraddha ceremony. So now ISKCON as an organization it's a global organization. So previously, while Sanatan Dharma was limited only to the Hindu and the Hindustan, Srila Prabhupada, by his great mercy, he made it available all over the world, including Yavanas and Milenchas, and everyone is invited to become devotee of the Lord. Kirata Punandra Pulinda Pulakasha Abhira Shumbha Yavana Kasadaya. So now here one has to pick up the point very well here. The point here is not in the next paragraph Srila Prabhupada is writing about, not the importance of, that the Shraddha ceremony need not be performed by the devotees. And there are two, the divisions here. Prabhupada here is giving example of Prahlad Maharaj. And the Lord is saying to Prahlad, my dear Prahlad, what to speak of delivering your father? Your 14th father, that 3 Saptaka, the 21 generations of your the living, your ancestors, they are delivered simply by you becoming a devotee. So when one becomes devotee of the Lord, then one actually performs the greatest activity for one's forefathers, right? So it is said that when one becomes devotee of the Lord, his forefathers are dancing in the Pitraloka, that now somebody in our Khandan, somebody in our Vamsha has become a devotee. And by the performance of his devotional service, we will be liberated. So they are dancing in ecstasy. But one has to become, so some devotees say, one has to become a devotee like Prahlad. So what is the real understanding here is that, those who are coming from the Sanatan background and those who have this, the Shraddha ceremony as one of their kulachar, they should perform Shraddha ceremony. And, they should perform the Shraddha ceremony and keeping the Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy name as the forefront, the ceremony should be performed. It is not that one has to stop the ceremony, because we see Mahaprabhu also performing this ceremony. At the same time, if one is coming from the background where there is no context of such a Shraddha ceremony, if it is not the Kulachar, then he can be simply, their forefathers can be simply be liberated. Of course, even if you perform or not perform, by performing devotional service, forefathers will automatically be liberated as well. And therefore, Prabhupada quotes here beautiful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas kahe sudrud nischay, Krishna Bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. Right, and this is called as Drida Shraddha. So devotee may or may not perform the Shraddha ceremony, and at the same time, if the devotee is coming from the Sanatana background, it is recommended that he performs the Shraddha ceremony while keeping Krishna consciousness and Sankirtana movement as the focus of the Shraddha ceremony. And while those who are coming to Krishna consciousness from non-Sanatana background, they need not perform the Shraddha ceremony. By performance of Bhakti Yoga, everyone is liberated. Okay, so this is the holistic understanding about Shraddha and performance of Shraddha ceremony. Text 44. Siddhan vidyadharam chaiva tirodhanena sosrujat tebhyo dadatam atmanam antardhanakhyam adbhutam. Translation.
Then Lord Brahma, by his ability to be hidden from vision, created the Siddhas and Vidyadharas and gave them that wonderful form of his known as the Antardhan. Purport. Antardhan means that these living creatures can be perceived to be present, but they cannot be seen by vision.
Next, there is creation of Siddhas and the Vidyadharas. So these are Charana, Siddha, Gandharva. So these are different personalities living at the higher, the superhuman platform. They are existing. Subhuman platform, they are existing at times. So now there is creation of the Siddhas and the Vidyadharas. And they have this potency called as Antardhan. Antardhan. We use this word. Antardhan Pavle, suddenly disappeared. So Antardhan, Prabhupada says, Antardhan means the living creatures can be perceived to be present, but then cannot be seen by the vision. So typically the demigods who are much higher than Gandharvas, Apsarās, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, they have this potency of Antardhan, appear at will and disappear at will. Right? They don't have to walk in and bell the ring and open the door. No, they can just appear at will and they can disappear at will, and that is called as Antardhan. And it is not only Devatas, even such personalities like Siddhas and the Vidyadharas, they also have this potency of Antardhan. Sakinnaran kim purushan pratyatmana srujat prabhu mayayan atmamananam atmas atma bhasam vilokayan. Translation.
One day, Brahma, the creator of the living entities, beheld his own reflection in the water, and admiring himself, he evolved Kimpurushas as well as Kinnaras out of that reflection.
Yeah. So now there is a creation of the Kimpurushas and the Kinnara. So Kinnara and the Kimpurushas, they were evolved when Lord Brahma, one day he just looked at his own reflection and he was appreciating his reflection, and suddenly there is evolution of Kimpurushas and the Kinnaras. Text 46. Te tu tagjagruha rupam tyakvam yat parameshthina mithuni bhuya gayantas tamevo shashikarmabhi. Translation.
The
The Kim Purush.
Purushas and Kinnaras took possession of the Shodas from left led by Brahma. That is why they and their spouses sing his
praise by recounting his exploit and every day break. Purport: the time early in the morning, 1.5 hours before sunrise, is called Brahma Muhurta. During this Brahma Muhurta, spiritual activities are recommended. Spiritual activities performed early in the morning have a greatest effect than in any other part of the day.
So these Kim Purushas and the Kinnaras, they took possession of the shadowy form left by Brahmaji. And Prabhupada writes here, this is why they and their spouses sing his praises. Whose praises? Lord Brahma's praises. These Kim Purushas and the Kinnaras will sing by recounting his exploit at every daybreak. So daybreak, every daybreak here refers to Brahma Muhurta. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, time early in the morning, especially 1.5 hours before sunrise, is called as Brahma Muhurta. And this time is recommended for the spiritual activities. Spiritual activities performed early in the morning have the greater effect than in any other part of the day. So it is the duty of a devotee to progressively arrange one's life. Again, progressively, slowly, eventually. These are very important things. Arrange one's life so that the one's conduct, one's the occupation and conduct within the day becomes favorable for performing devotional service. And the best recommended is the Brahma Muhurta should be made available. And that's why we have this morning japa circle called as Braja. Many devotees come together and chant the rounds. In every ISKCON temple, we have this Brahma Muhurta, Mangalarti goes on, Narsingarti, Tulsi Arti. Then devotees will chant their japa and everything. This is the advantage of Brahma Muhurta. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhupada,
Krishna.
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.